let's talk about trannies. Now, on the last episode of Mad at the Internet, I warned you that Blaire White is a fucking gross tranny and should not be given any leeway just because they are our base tranny, quote unquote, and they have conservative viewpoints and they believe in the gender binary, does not mean that Blaire White is not a mentally ill man in drag who can be trusted with anything. Quote erat demonstrandum, Ryan Gordon. Now, Yaniv and I had planned a interview, and then he abruptly backed out because he had gotten an agent for a documentary. The documentarian was apparently this guy, Ryan Gordon. And Ryan Gordon, as part of their agreement, had gotten access to all of Yaniv's social media and was basically given free access to everything that Yaniv does, to see all his private stuff and everything. And Gordon was using that as a direct way to pipe into information into the Canadian police. He was essentially like a freelance Fed working for the Canadians based on what he was doing. He was completely taking advantage of Yaniv from what he said. And he confided who he was and what he was doing to Blaire White. Blaire White being, I'll leave a link to this in the post. But from what he says, it's a long story, I'm not going to read it, but I'll give you the gist. Blaire White called the Langley Police Department by Yaniv and tried to corroborate information that Gordon had told him with what the police said. And what the police told Blaire White is that they could not give any information about an ongoing investigation. To which Blaire White turns around and says, "This is as he puts it, instead it sounds like she thought I can make another video off this," and she did. Blaire White made a video basically saying that this guy, Ryan Gordon, was the documentarian and was lying, was protecting a pedophile, was protecting Yaniv. And since the internet circle around Yaniv right now is a boomer frenzy, and because, as I've explained earlier, when people talk about pedophiles, they get like a frothing fucking rage where they excuse being complete fucking retards in favor of being like wannabe Chris Hansen vigilante witch hunters who fuck up everything. He immediately got doxxed, and then, according to him, people showed up at his house to the point where he called police and asked for patrols to stop by to make sure people weren't coming to kill him, because Blaire White had put this guy on fucking blast as being a pedophile protector or something, at least from the accounts, and I think the staff verified him. I hope so, otherwise I'm looking a retard. But yeah, because he contacted Blaire and said, you really misunderstand. From his account, he says, "In response to Blaire's accusations, I said, let's get them on the phone. And on a three-way with the Langley police, they asked me to verify myself. The police knew Blaire was on the call as well. After I verified myself, the Langley police confirmed exactly what Blaire had accused me of not doing." And despite that, despite knowing and having that confirmation they were looking for, after the video went out, Blaire has not taken down the video, has not apologized. And from what he said, Blaire basically said to him that it would make him look bad if he had gotten this wrong, so he's not going to fess up to it at all because he wants to be internet famous. Blaire had agreed to confidentiality with this person in exchange for a scoop on this Yaniv thing that Blaire was very interested in. And in response to that, this psychotic fucking crossdresser basically ruined his life. He's called off the documentary. He's completely dropped it. So I guess I get my interview with Yaniv now. Thanks, Blaire. And is just giving up on it. So I don't know. I think that's really funny. I called it like within days of it happening that Blaire shouldn't be trusted, and I'm right again. It's not a hard call though. Here you have someone who has a bona fide mental illness. Should they be trusted with confidential information that can really hurt you if it was in the wrong hands? The answer is no. The answer is no. Do not give psychotics your fucking a noose to hang you with. You will regret it when they do it. And you'll be surprised by their motivation in doing it. Jay predicted this exactly. See, okay, here's the thing. I'll tell you. My interview with Yaniv would not be hostile. It's like with Maddox. I really do not want a yelling contest. I have no interest in yelling at someone. I just want to talk, and I have good questions, and I have a good way of engaging someone and not pushing a narrative. Like, I have no reason to tell Yaniv that I think they're a bad person. I think my position on this is already well understood, and I don't have to prove to people what side I'm on. I don't feel that. But someone like Blaire White has to grandstand. They get this interview, and then at the end they go, I think I've already made fun of this. I made fun of this when it happened. When it happened, and how Blaire was just like, you make trans people look bad, and I don't want to give you a platform, and I think you're disgusting. And it's like, okay, nobody was accusing you of being like Yaniv until you said that. You make yourself look really fucking suspect when you go out on that limb. And I have no interest in doing that to Yaniv. I just want to ask questions and get him to talk. And it's the same thing with Maddox. I don't want to yell at Maddox. I just want to ask questions and get him to talk, because I think he has an interesting story that he hasn't spoken about yet. This guy is promising. He said he's filed a police report locally, and he's contacted the Hollywood police where Blaire lives to press charges. I don't know for what. I guess for harassment, maybe for defamation. Because I mean, in terms of defamation cases are hard to prove in general, obviously. And the big thing is you need damages, right? You need damages to prove defamation. If I say that if you're something that you're not, and it doesn't do you any harm, you can be as offended as you want, but you don't have a defamation case. But if you're a documentarian and you're expecting to make X amount of money off your documentary, and your defamation causes the documentary to fall apart, that is a possible loss, as far as I'm aware, in terms of defamation. So I don't know. I wish the best for him. I hope it works out, because it really sucks that this fucking retard in a dress ruined his shit for literally like 15 minutes of fame, just so that they can make another video going, I'm totally not like Yaniv, and I think Yaniv is bad. Like, okay, who gives a shit what you think? You're not fucking important. Nobody cares. Thanks for ruining the police's in to everything that Yaniv had, completely free of charge. You retard. Jordan, what do you think about Blaire?
I hope that Blaire White washes her feminine penis.
Me too. You don't want some dick cheese up on that. The estrogen does not make it any better. Dick Masterson is interviewing Boogie, apparently, in the next 2 weeks. So I've made an open question on the Kiwifarms. If you have any suggestions for how to deal with Boogie, please post there, because I'm very interested in hearing what people would suggest. I did have a conversation with Boogie with Jim and Ralph like a year ago, and people responded very negatively to that conversation, because they said that we let him put on his nice guy routine and get away with stuff. But really, when you talk to Boogie, he acts clueless. Like, he's like, I have no idea about that. I let my manager take care of that, I have no interest in that. I just put on a show. It's that kind of conversation, and it really like jars you, because you lose your footing. So if you're someone who talks to or knows a lot about Boogie and would be interested in seeing Dick talk to Boogie, do go ahead and post your suggestions or tips in that thread, because I would be interested in seeing Boogie react to someone who knows how to deal with him, I suppose. This tweet got posted like a couple hours ago, and it made me laugh really hard because it's just like, I'll read it. Thank you to Wayne Allen Root for the very nice words. Quote, President Trump is the greatest president for Jews and for Israel in the history of the world, not just America. He is the best president for Israel in the history of the world, and the Jewish people in Israel love him. He's like the king of Israel. They love him like he is the second coming of God. But American Jews don't know him or like him. They don't know what they're doing or saying anymore. It makes no sense, but that's okay. If he keeps doing what he's doing, he's good for all Jews, blacks, gays, everyone. And importantly, he's good for everyone in America who wants a job. Wow, says Trump. So that there's King of Israel, Donald Trump. Every day, you know, I wake up and I thank God for Israel because I love the nation of Israel. And I think I love Israel more than anyone else. But then I see a tweet from Donald Trump about how much he loves Israel. And I'm thinking, wow, that motherfucker loves Israel. So every day, Donald Trump challenges me to love Israel more. And I try to meet that challenge to the best of my ability. Jordan, what do you say about Israel?
The Jew is immunized against all dangers. One may call him a scoundrel, parasite, swindler, profiteer. It all runs off him like water off a raincoat. But call him a Jew, and you will be astonished as he recoils, how injured he is, how he suddenly shrinks back. I've been found out.
Well, that's anti-Semitic as fuck, Jordan Peterson. I can't endorse that. I have to disavow. And with those famous last words, I think I'm going to call it a wrap. And I'll catch you guys next week.